Okay, so this is your first activity. Okay, it includes the concepts of segment-based security group and job application. So you have to create 5 security groups, okay, based on the conditions given over here. Then you need to create a job application process for external candidates. Please keep this in mind that you're doing this for external candidates. So you have to take those appropriate security groups as well. So while creating job application, you have to keep in mind all the stages. Okay, all the stages should be included, and each stage there should be all possible steps included. Then you need to configure the access, background check, and interview BP, which we will be discussing today. So I'll be giving you the SUPOC. So you will be assigning your job application BP, your access, background, interview BP to that SUPOC. Okay, you know,
Okay.
right, how we will be assigning it. Then
Mm.
you have to automatically decline a candidate's remaining job application with the reason candidate hired for all the stages of job application BP. Okay, so what you need to do, can you tell for this third point how you are going to do it?
So first we need to make a disposition, and then we need to add that create a condition rule in the
Mhm.
stage of the BP and then decline it, right? Like as you shown yesterday.
Yes, correct. So you have to create a disposition, then attach it to each and every stage. Go to each and every stage tab and add it over there. And also one more thing, in the higher BP, I don't think so it is available in the tenant. Just check it. You have to attach one sub process as the last step, right? For the higher BP. Decline candidate's job, remaining job.
Sorry, Shilpa, I did not get that.
Okay, so when we were executing this particular feature, let me go back. See, so what we did over here, we created disposition regions, and in the business process ready for hire, the declined remaining jobs BP should be put as the last step.
Yeah, okay, yeah, got it.
And then you need to add those dispositions in each and every stage. Then automatically decline candidates for fill job with the reason job opening is no longer available for all the stages. Okay, so this particular reason should be there. Job opening is no longer available. And while creating the reason, you have to make sure which checkbox should be marked, right? Then the fifth point is automatically advance candidates from assessment stage. Okay, you have to apply advanced routing on the assessment tab and automatically decline candidate from interview stage. Just try to do it on your own. If not, we'll discuss it tomorrow.
Okay.
And regarding segment-based security group, you will come to know, for example, create a group which gives access to managers and recruiters the access of only external candidate job application. Will you be able to do it?
Yeah, this I think we can do that. The
Okay.
segment is it is inbuilt, right, in Workday. The
Uh,
segment is inbuilt,
yes,
right?
for job application, it is there.
Yeah.
For questionnaires also it's there, but we can also create one for questionnaire. Similarly,
Okay.
for assessment, it's there. In our tenant, it's not possible to create new ones. But over you just have to use your Workday define job application segments. Then create a group which gives access to managers and recruiters the access of only external candidate questionnaire response. Okay, just go back and see how we did this. Which all domains should be updated after you create these security
Question and
groups.
candidate data, questionnaires, and questionnaire total scores, right? I think for this we need to just go for questionnaire total scores.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. Then create a group which gives access to HR button, the questionnaires total score, and questionnaire access for all the stages. So over here, we have to add it in all the domains.
2 domains, yeah.
Create a group which gives HR partner and security admin the access to reference check questionnaire. Okay. Before creating any segment, just check if Workday has defined this particular segment already. Okay. Then create a security group which gives HR partner the access of personal information, questionnaire and background check. So just check if this particular questionnaire is present. If not, then you have to create a segment for this particular questionnaire and then attach it to HR. Okay.
So Shilpa,
Hmm?
so here are they saying that personal information questionnaire is in this background check stage? Is that
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
just want access for one questionnaire in this stage.
Yes. Correct.
So we can attach a security for this personal this questionnaire using create questionnaire segment security segment task.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And please check if there are some domains which need to be updated or if there are any Workday defined segments
Okay.
already present. Sadaf, is it clear?
Yeah, I will need to go back actually and check few things, and then yeah, I will do it. I'll do it. Then if I have any question, I'll come back.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And
Can you show
this
the
job,
other first page, Shilpa?
which one?
Uh, you were showing the first activity was there, right? This one
Yeah,
only, I think. Yeah.
yeah, this is in continuation.
No, you asked continuation. Yeah. Before that, the activity which you showed, can you show again?
Okay, this one, job
Yeah.
application BP.
Yeah.
Okay, so over here, make sure whatever security groups you are attaching for each and every step, those should have the access of only external candidate job application, not any other one. Okay,
Right.
so here segment-based security group for external candidates will be used. So what you can do, you can use this first segment-based security group. Just add managers and recruiters only as the security groups over here.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get started with the interview business process. Yeah. Set up interviews. So every organization uses this stage, I think. Yes, no one skips this interview business process, right? So we can add interviews as a component for our recruiting process. With interviews, we can define different types of interviews, whether they are video based, phone based, call based, or video conferencing based, whatever. Then it could be included in one or more interview stages in the job application dynamic business process. Right? In different stages, we can add them multiple times. So in some organization, there are rounds for 3 interview as well. So we can add more than one interview in a whole job application BP. Then we can create an interview team. By interview team, I mean who will be taking the interview, where they will be taking it, when, and who will be the candidates, everything. So we can create an interview team and link it to a specific job requisition. So generally, when creating job requisition, we attach the details of interview room. Okay, interview room includes every detail regarding the interviews. And if not, we have added in the job requisition, we can add it externally as well. So job requisition also has the link attached for assessment test and now for the interview room as well. We can create rating scales used by interviewers when providing feedback. Okay, once they interview the candidate, they can provide the feedback based on some ratings. Okay, so we can define those ratings as well. Then we can include we can configure interviews to include competencies and questionnaires. So for that, competencies and questionnaires should be present in the system, or we can also create it thereon. By competencies, we mean what? Core values of a particular company, leadership, communication, all the priorities which needs to be fulfilled for the quarter. Those include the competencies. Questionnaires, as you all know, these are set of questions which is set, and it is generally set for each and every stage. Then we can schedule and manage interviews. So these are the general features which are present for the interview BP. Okay. So over here we can see certain domains wherein we can give the access to the security group who will be participating in conducting the interviews. The first domain is interview feedback comments. Which all security groups will be able to view interview feedback comments, okay, and also give interview feedback comments. Interview feedback results, who will be able to see the results, who will be able to interview, who will be able to schedule an interview, who will be able to get access of the person's data regarding the work email. Okay, which all security group will be able to see the candidate's interview feedback. My scheduling recruiting events, who all can view all the events related to interview recruiting, scheduling the interviews and recruiting. So you need not to add your security group in each and every domain, but you should know these domains exist. So whenever clients ask for some changes in the security, you can go here and just edit it. Is it clear?
Yeah, for me, yes.
Okay. Please go into the tenant and see each and every domain, see their description and what all tasks and reports they have. Then what is the basic steps of interview BP scheduling? So first we need to configure the security in the domains. Then we need to configure the interview business process like we did for access and what was the other one? Background check. So similarly we need to do for interview also. Then we can maintain interview feedback ratings. So what happened? These ratings, once defined in the system, will not be edited. We won't be able to edit them. Then maintain interview types. Generally, there are three types of interviews. One is on the basis of video, one is phone, and one is in person. Okay. So this is what ingest interview activities include. So
Shilpa, will that not be a problem if we can't change it again in the future?
this is the functionality actually. This is a disadvantage, you can say, which Workday gives, but you cannot edit it, you know. So let us first go into the tenant and see how we can maintain interview feedback rating and types, and then we will configure the BP. So over here in this system, these three ratings are already defined, as you can see, and we don't have any option of editing it. Only higher authorities, if our client wants to change these settings, then we have to ask the higher authority who have the access to make some changes over here. So the rating 3 defines highly recommended. This is the topmost rating. Then the second and the first one. Okay, this is common in every recruitment tenant generally. And in my client's tenant also, I'm getting such kind of rating over. Then the next we have is maintain interview type. So over here, you can see we have two inbuilt interview type, face-to-face and video call. So they are generally common. So we can add one more to it. That is of
Phone interview.
yeah. Alright. So the next thing we are going to discuss is the BP for interview. Let's see the default definition.
But can you increase the font size?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is what a business process for interview looks like. So this is defined by Workday, but we have some other options as well. You can see over here. So related to recruiting, we have only these three groups involved. So let me go back here. So these are the possible combinations we can take while creating a interview BP. First one is to schedule interview. Second one, manage interview feedback. Third one is make interview decision. So for earlier BP as well, we have a completion kind of a step. It is over here recommended, but it's not mandatory. We generally make this step as the last step, and it gives us the interview decision whether we are going to decline or advance the candidate. Then the second type we can include is of schedule interview, then rate interview, make interview decision. So I don't think so in our tenant we have this option available, but these two are similar. Okay, but generally this option is chosen because it is more updated and it has more features in it. It was used in the 2016 Workday release. Then the third one is schedule interview team. So schedule interview and schedule interview team, they both perform similar functions, but the only difference is schedule interview team is not used when we have integrated interviews with Google Calendar or Microsoft Calendar. Okay, so we generally use schedule interview process only and not schedule interview team. Then rate interview, then make interview decision. Okay, so what generally we follow is the first row sequence. Okay, so let's go into the detail of schedule interview. So the first thing which is required is a job requisition, which we have not created till now. But we will use randomly any job requisition. Okay. So this setting is throughout the tenant available. Okay. For this particular requisition. Okay. Now over here, we can create interview team. Okay. We can click on the sign. We can give the name of the interviewer or interviewers. So let me randomly search for how much time the interview will be conducted. It's written over here in minutes. So what happens whenever a candidate for a particular job requisition is moved to interview stage, this whole information will be given to these interviewers, and similarly a notification will be sent to the candidate as well. If they have integrated with Outlook, you must have used Outlook, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you must have created events over there as well. So similar kind of communication will be given to the candidate in his Outlook account. Or for if we are integrating it with Google, then on the Gmail, he will get the normal link and everything. Every detail he will get on his mail. Then
And that is
alternative side,
tenant setup, right?
yes, we will see how we can do that.
Okay.
Okay, these are the alternate interviews which you can add. Then we can add notes also, but okay, in this tenant, in my tenant, there's also an option of competencies and questionnaire, which will include the details for competencies and questionnaire, which will be used for this particular interview. There's an option over here. I don't know why is it not coming. Okay, simply there's two more tabs for competencies and questionnaire, where you can attach your questionnaires. Then recommended interview setting, start date, end date, ranges of date. So we can attach multiple interviews as well, okay, for a particular job requisition over here.
So Shilpa,
Mhm.
here video call is just a label, right? Means like how a disposition label is created, in the same way we created a label, right?
Yeah,
Or
but
then how can that person, means is it done in the same website, or is it just for a record type, the information which is present here?
okay, if I click on this, let me check. Okay, it's a new. So this particular interviewer will be responsible to give the notification to the candidate for video call. What all details are required, he will be doing the action for that. He will
Okay.
get a notification in his inbox with a certain kind of a template. wherein he has to give the details for the link and the start time, everything, and that email and that communication will be given to the candidate, generally through Outlook email,
Okay.
because every interview is set up based on Outlook now. It is very common feature.
Okay.
We can click on it. But please do remember we add competencies and questionnaires over here.
Oh, Shilpa, I don't know what do you mean by competencies because I don't know what is it.
Okay, competencies. Let me show you. Like in offices, we have competencies like building talent. For my organization, competencies means milestone, which should be achieved in a particular quarter, related to various aspects of a profession. Like championing innovation is like how much innovation participation he undergo. Then core values, is he following the core values of a company? Okay, based on these competencies performance, the ratings are given generally in my organization. Then domain expertise or the functional knowledge is one of the competency. Leadership, which all activities he performed in order to improve his this competency.
Skill sets, right? I mean,
Yeah, sort of skill set.
sort of, in plain simple language, I think it will be skill sets, competencies.
Yeah. Then teamwork is a very common competency. Like we won't be putting a competency as Java expertise. No, we will be giving it as a functional growth or functional expertise. We won't be specifying the skill name, but we will generalize it to a competence. So these are the competencies. Okay, so this is how we can create interview teams. Let's go back. So what schedule interview has? Schedule interview for a specific job application. What it does, it automatically populates the interview team for the managed interview scheduling setting task. Okay, so whatever data we have given in the manage interview scheduling task, whenever this schedule interview is executed, it will automatically pre-populate all the data into the initiator's inbox. Initiator will get details about each and every detail regarding the interview scheduling settings. Is it clear or is it confusing?
It's fine for me.
Okay. Then the second one is make interview decision, which is not appropriate. It should come after rate interview. Let's discuss rate interview or slash. The other one was manage
Interview
feedback.
feedback.
Yeah, manage interview feedback. So as the name suggests, it is used to give ratings to a particular candidate by the interviewer. Okay, so whenever this rate interview task is coming into the inbox of interviewer, what he has to give? He has to give the ratings of a particular candidate. He will get a template like form in his inbox where he has to add the ratings for a candidate. Okay, So Workday no longer recommends using this step in your interview process. So instead of this, we use manage interview feedback, which is not there in this tenant. So what manage interview feedback does, it leads to triggering of two inbox tasks by default. Okay, so the first one is manage interview feedback. Okay, let me check.
Is it maintain interview feedback ratings?
No, it's manage interview feedback.
Okay.
Hmm. Let's suppose we are looking into the job application of a particular candidate. Then we have to give his job application name. Okay. This is not the correct task actually. So over here we would be having job requisition, then the ratings, then who performed it, the interviewers, and the feedback date is also there. So since manage interview feedback task itself is not there in the tenant over here, that's why it's not showing its two sub processes, which will be triggered in the inbox of the security group. Let's see what I have here. So let's suppose this is a requisition. I think it will give the list of all the people. This is not the task which is used. So just remember, in real-time projects, instead of rate interview, we use manage interview feedback, which leads to triggering of two more sub-process. One is manage interview feedback in itself, and the other one is give interview feedback. So what manage interview feedback does, it tracks the progress of interview, including the feedback, returning feedback to interviewer, rescheduling, initiating the next step. Then the next set of action item which the recruiter or which the security group gets is of give interview feedback. So interviewer add ratings and comments and provide feedback about the candidate. Okay, so what Workday does, Workday sends the give interview feedback task to the inbox of the security group defined on the security policy. Okay, then the last one is make interview decision. As the name suggests, the where manager will decide in his inbox, he will get an item to make the decision about interview. He will either advance or decline the candidate. He will just give his feedback decision whether he cleared it or not. And based on that, from that particular stage, the candidate will be moved to next stage or he will be declined. So it's better to make them the completion step over here. Let me go into the BP of scheduled interview. Okay, so this is one of the tasks which so when schedule interview task is given to the initiator, what he has to do, he has to fill in these details and he will get a template in his inbox and he has to fill all these details. The candidate name whom he will be interviewing, list of candidates, then interview date, start time, end time, time zone, in which time zone these times are allocated, interviewers, then the location where it will be set, the location of the interview type. Okay, so over here the details regarding the interviews is created. This is a very important task, candidate interview schedule, which is populated as soon as the initiator gets this particular stage. Initiator reaches this stage. Any doubts on this? A lot of things are not there, so it's confusing.
Yeah, it is. I'm like completely confused now. I am not
Okay.
getting actually.
Okay.
So, can we do a like small, easiest recap when we are doing the like when we are looking at the BP? From there, we did the interview BP, right?
Mhm. Okay, so this is the BP for the interview. What will be the first set of action?
Schedule
This
interview.
schedule
There
interview.
was something like
Yeah,
yeah,
so schedule interview is the step which will be given to the initiator in his inbox. So
yeah,
what he will get a template similar to this. Means these fields
got
he
it.
has to populate.
Okay,
Okay, you can do it
okay,
for multiple candidates, and
right.
then once completing that scheduling interview part, the interview will be conducted offline by
Yeah,
some recruiter interviewer, and then this
yeah.
particular stage comes into picture of rate interview.
So this is
Or
the yeah. So this is the third type of definition you are talking about, right? Where you said schedule interview and rate interview and make interview decision.
yes, so
But
this
then
is
you
a
said
different.
followed is the first one.
Okay, let me just change
Trying
it.
to
It's
understand which one are we discussing right now? Yeah, we discussed about, you told us about three of them, right?
yeah.
So I want to know which one is this.
Let me edit it and make it in a flow.
Sure.
Okay, so this is the correct flow. So once a candidate has moved to interview stage, he has to this leads to set of these actions. Okay, so the first action is in the initiators list in mailbox where he has to schedule interview. So he can provide it through this task externally, or he will get a mail in his inbox and he has to fill this template. Okay, so either the details could be pre-populated externally using this particular task, or the initiator will definitely get a task in his mailbox for scheduling interviews. Okay, so any security group could be attached over here. Then after conducting the interview, the next set of action which comes into picture is rating the interview. So this is done in both ways, by the interviewer for the candidate, and also candidate's feedback is also taken into consideration. So over here, employer self is included, and also we can include any other security group. Okay.
Yeah.
So before rating, giving the ratings, the rating should also be defined, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, but do remember, in real-time project, we don't use this step. We use manage interview feedback, which leads to triggering of two sub-steps or two action items in the mailbox of the people present over here. Okay, one is manage interview feedback, and the second one is give interview feedback.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and the last step is of making the interview decision, whether the candidate will be declined or advanced. This is done by only and only recruiter generally.
Okay.
Scheduling is done by the recruiter, right? Scheduling an interview.
Yes,
Or
it
is
is
it
done.
like so when is the
Mhm.
interview happening?
The interview will occur as per the type. Okay, so over here,
Okay.
the details will be given. Okay, the location will
Okay,
be
so
given.
interviewer name is written here. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Okay, by
So
location,
it
they
will
will.
be,
Mhm.
yeah, this
Yes,
will go to the recruiter and recruiter will pass it on to the interviewers.
yes. And by location, not only the.
Because remember, sorry, there was a place where
No,
you
no.
also showed the name of the recruiter, for name of the interviewers also. So what was that? I'm just trying to relate. Who is interviewing here actually?
Okay.
I'm not sure that you showed us a task, right? Where
Yes.
there was some interviewers who were configuring. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was interview BP something.
No,
I think so,
manage
yeah.
interview. Is that what you're saying, Sadaf? Manage interview settings or something like that?
No, I remember
No, it
which.
was she did some interview BP. I think so.
Just a sec. Mm. So this is the task you were talking about.
I talked about
Yeah,
this.
there we had
Okay.
interview scheduling settings.
I
Yeah,
thought
somewhere.
this is a task or a BP. I had that doubt. I thought this is a task.
Yeah, this is a task only which should be performed
Okay.
before the uh, setting up, before the start of the interview BP. Let me try to show you.
So, I mean, here, like, how does this get triggered when we are running, like the BP process is running? Where will this come into picture?
Yeah, just
How are we connected? Yeah.
okay. So we did the step while doing the setup for the interview. Okay, it will give us the list of all the interviewers who will be involved, what duration they will be taking the interview type, which all questionnaires they will be doing, and they will be using, what all competencies they will be taking into picture based on a job requisition. So this particular setting we do while setting up the tenant for the interview. So this is not a BP, it is not triggered. This is a task which is done before the start of interview BP. Okay, so we have seen over here setup. Configure security domains, okay, and then configure interview BP comes into picture. So before this, before the uh, execution of BP, we have to set this thing. We have to give the detail, because if we don't give the details of interviewers over here, okay, then this particular field won't populate that particular interviewers list.
Oh, so are you saying it is similar to a disposition label? Is it is it just that we are creating a label over there so that it will populate here?
Yeah, means the list of all possible interviewers for a particular job requisition, and what all questionnaires will be included, it is also defined over here. So it is sort of setting done before the execution of BP.
Right. So when in this BP the step B occurs, schedule interview. That is when uh, that that task, whoever is there in the interview panel will get the notification. That is what
Yes,
happens.
and yes, and that interview panel list is decided over here for
Right.
a
In the
particular.
right, right. But how are they linked? I am still trying to understand.
As per the job requisition.
Okay, okay. And where are we
Okay.
putting the job requisition name in the BP?
In the BP. Okay,
I
so
mean,
we will be creating the this particular BP on a SUPOC, right? And when we create
right.
a job requisition, no, the first thing it asks
Yeah,
for is supervisory organization. So
correct.
automatically that requisition will be aligned to this particular detail. I know it's very confusing.
Yeah,
It's messy, but just remember this
okay.
part of settings. Then what
So
happens?
BP,
This
yeah, BP is connected to the SUPORG, and SUPORG will have the job rec, and job
hmm,
rec will have the interviewer details.
yes, yes,
Okay, I got it.
okay, yeah. Please note it down properly so that you don't get confused after.
So Shilpa, are we not going to take an example and do it? Are we or are we not doing it?
We are not going to do it, but we will have an activity tomorrow for this.
Okay. Okay.
Today we are just going to discuss the concepts. Okay.
Okay.
So in the activity, it is given you have to configure it, right? This interview BP. So just go to the Superb and copy the default definition. That's it. Nothing else. Now let's go to the next topic, which is of setting up Workday with Outlook. So this is also a very general feature. So the prerequisite before integrating it with Microsoft Outlook is work account should be there through Azure Active Directory. Its current Workday Microsoft account should be there. Microsoft Exchange Online means email transfer should be possible. Microsoft Outlook 365 email work address for the interviewers. He should have a valid email address. Room list. So the updated 365 version should be installed basically. So over here we have the option of integrating it. So once we click on it, after 15 minutes, it will be integrated. So we have to wait for 15 minutes for it to occur. Okay, so I will just go down. I hope it doesn't. Oh, okay. So what we need to do, when we click on sign in, it will give a request access email on an Outlook account, and the administrator will accept that request, and then we will be able to enter into the Outlook account using Workday. And then we have to carry out the task as we do in Outlook generally, like creating event and sending it to a particular candidate. Candidate should also have Outlook account as well. Only then he will be able to get the emails. So the steps for configuring it is edit tenant setup recruiting task. Over there we have to enable Outlook action. It will take 15 minutes also for the workday to start aligning with Outlook. Then configure the interview BP and then maintain interview rooms. So what using this task we will get into the Outlook, and in Outlook, like we generally create calendar events, we will do like that. I'll try to manage a screenshot for this thing tomorrow. Then the last feature is of managing the interviews. Once the interviews are created, BP is created, rooms and everything is set, what all managing tasks we have. First one is manage interview scheduling settings. So we have seen using this task how we can define the list of interviewers and for a particular job requisition and their associated questionnaire competencies, duration and location, everything. Then schedule interview. This is another task. Okay, so we have seen, right, when we were discussing about BPs, when schedule interview event is triggered, then the security group will get a mail in his inbox in which he has to give these details, right? We can also interview schedule for a particular candidate externally using this particular task. So this is also important. You can note it down. Okay. So over here, uh, we can use even rooms as well. Rooms are for Outlook integrated Workday tenants. Okay. And location is if we choose Google Calendar or we choose none of the above in the edit tenant setup recruiting task, then the actual location or the address can be populated over here.
Shilpa, I have a small doubt.
Yes, yes, please ask.
So, you were trying to show that outlook, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, is what is it for exactly? Is it like you when you want to send the details to the candidate about the interview schedule and how to join in that to send all those details to the candidate? We are doing that process, is it?
Yes, for communicating with the candidate, yes. Through Outlook, if we want to do, which is a very general feature nowadays in the organization, because Outlook account is there for every person in the organization. So
Okay.
we don't now do it on any other platform like Gmail, Hotmail, or Yahoo, anything. We don't use that. We only use Outlook.
Okay. Okay.
That's why we are trying to do it. I think this is the other time. So by rooms, you know what I meant since you have used Outlook, so you must be knowing what are rooms.
Yeah,
Any
I
idea?
think it is a link for communicating, right? They can communicate means a space to communicate. Is it what
Yeah,
it means?
a link and a time slot as well.
So in the process, while integrating it with Outlook only, we will be able to create a room, is it? Or else is there any separate task in Workday to create a room and then send the details through Outlook?
Nice question, that is. So we can only create rooms for Outlook in Outlook only. Okay, otherwise we have locations for which Outlook is not installed. we have seen.
Sorry, Shilpa, I couldn't hear you.
Okay. I'm saying for Outlook integrated workday system, we can create rooms only in the Outlook. Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
if Outlook is not integrated, then what we have to create? We have to create locations. So you
Okay.
must have seen locations, right?
Yeah.
How to create them. So
Yeah.
we have to use such kind of locations and not rooms then.
Locations means, are you talking about Supergs? Some locations are associated with Supergs. Is that what you're saying?
No. By location, I wanted to tell you the how
Okay.
manually we can give the
Interview
address of a
schedule.
particular
Okay.
interview location. Wait, just
Okay. I think it's there in the candidate interview schedule, right? Or no?
yeah, it's just a sec. Candidate module. See, so when we are not integrating it with Outlook, then we have the option of choosing location types for interview scheduling. Yeah. So what will be the
The
location
interview
type?
will occur
Yeah.
for the face-to-face interview. Something like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So it should definitely be person, face to face, right? In person.
Yes, it is in person generally. If we are selecting none of the above, only then we have this option.
Okay.
And what about the phone calls and everything? The other modes of interviews, video interviews?
I think we should definitely start integrating with Outlook or something like that to do that.
Actually, generally those type of interviews uh, on online, they are conducted using these two options. And if we are not integrating it with these two options, then we are left with only one option of manually conducting the interviews. So
Okay.
that particular setting is done from here.
Okay.
And we will see tomorrow how we can create locations. It will become more clear. I'll give a more overall picture tomorrow of this. And I will also try to create new Outlook account and integrate it, and we'll show you there.
And Shilpa, few companies they will conduct these interviews in a stage wise in a process, right? Saying first they will have a phone call interview, then a video call interview, then if qualified they will even ask for in-person interviews. Then what
Mhm.
if all these options are there? Then can we go for both options here in the tenant setup?
Yeah, we can do so. In the job application BP, we have to define where we will be including the interview step. Okay, and
Oh,
then we have to define the interviews which will be there for the each requisition using this task. Not this one. So such kind of details will be given where we will either give the room details or the location details as per the integration. Okay, I think we will discuss on this tomorrow with a more clear picture. Okay, with integration with Outlook and everything, and you will get all your questions resolved tomorrow. Definitely.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Shilpa. Have a good day.